Hello Matt, I'm really sorry to hear that you're feeling this way. It sounds like you've got a lot on your plate right now. I totally get it. I've been there too, feeling like everything is piling up and there's no time to breathe. Not too long ago, I found myself in a similar situation. Between work, family obligations, and personal goals, I was drowning in everything. I honestly didn't know how to keep up. But you know what helped me? I started by taking a step back and realizing that it was okay to not have everything under control. One of the first things I did was write down everything I had to do, no matter how big or small. Just getting it out of my head and onto paper made everything feel more manageable. I then broke those tasks into smaller chunks, which made me feel like I could actually accomplish them, rather than just staring at a huge mountain of responsibilities. Here's a piece of advice I swear by now: try using time blocking. Set specific times in your day to focus on certain tasks. When you see that you have a set window for each thing, it becomes easier to stay focused without thinking about everything else at once. It also helps to schedule some downtime. Trust me, you need it to reset. Even if it's just 10 to 15 minutes to yourself, take that time to breathe, relax, or do something you enjoy. Also, don't be afraid to ask for help. I know it can feel like you should handle everything on your own, but delegating tasks and letting others pitch in really makes a difference. You don't have to do it all alone. And lastly, remember, you're doing your best, and that's all that matters right now. Be kind to yourself through this process. One of the most memorable events from my childhood was the summer trip I took to the beach with my family. It was a trip that had been planned for months, and the excitement leading up to it was almost unbearable. We packed up the car early in the morning, and as soon as we hit the road, I could feel the sense of adventure in the air. The sun was shining, and the cool breeze made everything seem perfect. When we finally arrived, the sight of the beach stretched out before me was breathtaking. The sand was warm beneath my feet, and the sound of the waves crashing against the shore immediately made me feel at peace. I remember running into the water without hesitation, letting the waves splash against me as I laughed with my siblings. It was one of those rare moments when everything felt carefree and full of joy. Later, we built a huge sandcastle together, which, looking back, felt like the most monumental thing we'd ever accomplished. As we were finishing, we watched the sunset over the horizon, and I remember thinking that this was a perfect day. The colors in the sky were so vivid, and the whole experience felt like something out of a dream. It wasn't just about the fun of the day, it was the time spent together with my family, all of us enjoying something so simple, yet so meaningful. Reflecting on that day, I realize it wasn't just a fun trip. It was an experience that taught me the value of spending quality time with loved ones. That beach trip is still something I look back on with fondness, and it reminds me how important it is to cherish the small, precious moments that make life so beautiful. What I am observing is a quiet scene in the living room of a modest house. In the foreground, a young boy, perhaps around 5 or 6 years old, is sitting on the floor, deeply focused on a toy train. His small hands gently push the train along the tracks, his face marked with a quiet sadness. The train moves slowly across the carpet, but his gaze is distant, as if lost in his thoughts. Beside him, scattered toys hint at a more playful mood, but none seem to catch his attention now. In the background, his mother sits on the couch, watching him with a look of concern. She is seated comfortably, but her eyes are fixed on her son, her hands folded in her lap. It's clear she wants to comfort him but doesn't want to intrude on his space. The room is softly lit by the warm glow of a nearby lamp, casting a calming atmosphere over the scene. Above them, framed pictures hang on the wall, but they don't seem to matter in this moment. So, this is a little glimpse into a quiet, tender moment in a home where a child's sadness is palpable, and a mother's watchful care is the only comfort she can offer. Several possible things can happen in the next few minutes. The mother is going to approach her son and gently sit next to him. She might offer a soft word of comfort or encourage him to express what's on his mind, sensing his need for a little emotional support. The reason for this prediction is that her watchful gaze shows a deep concern for his well-being, and she likely knows he needs comfort. Another possibility is that she will reach for the toy train and guide it along the tracks with him, trying to engage him in a more playful manner. By doing this, she hopes to ease his sadness and perhaps bring a small smile to his face. Those are some of my predictions that can potentially take place, considering the calm, supportive environment she has created around him. I know you prefer saving money, and I totally appreciate your opinion about going for the 2015 Vero X3, especially since it's cheaper. However, I think the 2024 Solara A5 would be a better option in the long run. First of all, while the Vero X3 is more affordable, the Solara A5 is much newer, which means fewer chances of repairs and more years of reliable service. A newer car typically comes with better technology and safety features, which the Solara A5 has plenty of, including advanced safety systems that the Vero X3 doesn't offer. Secondly, the Solara A5 has a warranty, which gives you extra peace of mind for several years. That's something the older Vero X3 doesn't have, and as you know, warranties can save a lot on unexpected expenses. Anyway, that's why I think the Solara A5 would be a smarter choice. It's a bit more expensive up front, but in the long run, it's more reliable and safer. I hope I've convinced you. Hi Jake, how are you? I'm really sorry, but I just found out that I have an urgent family commitment this weekend that I can't avoid. I know we had been looking forward to catching up and spending some time together, and I was really excited about our plans. Unfortunately, this family situation came up last minute, and I really need to be there for them. I hope you understand, it's one of those things that can't be rescheduled, and I really wish I could make it. Would it be possible for us to reschedule for next weekend or maybe even sometime during the week? I would love to make it up to you and still get to hang out. I truly hope this doesn't mess up your weekend plans too much, and I'll do my best to make sure we can find another time to meet up soon. Thank you so much for understanding, and I really apologize for the change. Let me know what works for you, and we'll figure something out. First of all, I believe that schools should implement uniforms for students. In my experience, when I was in high school, we had uniforms, and it made a huge difference in how we interacted with each other. It helped eliminate the pressure to wear expensive or trendy clothes, which often led to teasing and social divisions. When everyone is dressed the same, there's less emphasis on appearance, and students can focus more on their education. Second of all, uniforms can promote a sense of unity and school pride. In my case, wearing the same uniform created a shared identity among us as students, and it made us feel more connected to our school community. This sense of belonging can positively influence the school atmosphere and improve student behavior. Lastly, uniforms can make mornings less stressful for both students and parents. In my family, we used to have arguments about what to wear before school, but when uniforms were introduced, that problem disappeared. It simplified our routine and allowed us to start the day with less stress. So, based on my experience and the advantages I've seen, I truly believe that implementing uniforms in schools can lead to a more focused, equal, and united environment for students. Hey. I was on the subway earlier and I saw something so strange, I still can't believe it. So, picture this. I'm just sitting there, trying to mind my own business, when I look up and there are 5 guys sitting across from me. The crazy part is, they're all dressed as superheroes: Iron Man, the Hulk, Spider-Man, the Human Torch, and even the Thing. But the costumes, man, they were awful. Like, totally homemade, the kind of costumes you'd expect at a kid's party, not grown men trying to look like superheroes. The Iron Man suit looked more like a cardboard box painted red, the Hulk had no muscle definition and just looked like a giant green blob, and Spider-Man. His suit barely fit, and you could see the fabric was already falling apart. They were just chilling, sitting there, acting like it was completely normal, not caring at all how ridiculous they looked. It was honestly hilarious. I hope I could give you a good description of this scene, because it was truly something else.